Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am Christy Vann with Fantastic Finances, and on this channel I teach velocity banking. Today we are going to be talking with Rose. She is in a situation financially that she's trying to work out here before she gets in a deeper mess than she's already in. So we are going to see what we can do to help her out just a little bit. So welcome to the channel, Rose.
Hi, Christy.
So tell me a little bit about yourself.
Already, so I have been a mom for 40 years, and I've been in a bit of a pickle in the sense that hubby has said he will be divorcing me after 40 years. I'm grateful that I have been doing the finances in my home, so I sort of kind of have a handle, on what the expenses are and so forth and so on. But I would like to position myself in a way where I can realize that it is what it is, and I have to go forward and, do things on my own now.
Okay, so you've been married for 40 years?
Yes.
40 years. You sound like, so your husband's asked for a divorce, or he's telling you that he's wanting out. You sound like you're handling this pretty well. Is this something that you've just learned, or have you known this for a while?
I think he mentioned this about 10 years ago when I started taking care of mom. Mom became homeless.
Okay.
So I brought her home, and that's where the intense dislike started, because I chose to protect mom and bring her in.
Okay.
And so I believe in my heart, my mind, that I'm honoring my mother as the Bible asks me to.
Right.
And it is what it is. A couple of times he had asked me to take her to an elderly home. I refused to do that. That to me is not biblical. And so I chose to obey the word of God and take care of my elderly mother. And I took care of her for almost 10 years.
Wow.
She just passed away about a year ago. And she was a very healthy 97-year-old. And I'm grateful to have given her the childhood she never had.
That is awesome. That's a beautiful story in itself. Because a lot of older people are sitting in nursing homes right now, or they are in assisted living where the families just don't want to take care of them. So I think that's commendable that you did that. Since your mother has passed, you said she was 97, so she had a big, long life.
She did, and I'm grateful for that. And her mind was intact. She could recite Psalms 91 at her age.
Wow. Beautiful. Wow.
That's the videos of her being able to do that. So I save those videos when I feel sad and down and out.
Oh.
I listen to those videos, and it lifts me up knowing that I did everything I could within my power to protect her in her most vulnerable years of life.
Well, that is beautiful. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. It sounds like that's painful, but your husband then being in the attitude, I guess he was, that just had to be very disheartening because you thought you were doing the right thing and he wasn't supportive.
Oh, absolutely. He didn't even attend the funeral.
Oh my goodness.
Right. And stayed in the room watching, I think it was football or boxing, while I had the family come over to the house. The food after the celebration service that we had for her.
Right.
So to today, and I'm not saying this to feel sorry for myself or anything. Until today, he has not given me his condolences or anything. But God's holding my heart, and that's what's important to me.
Right, exactly. So I've heard of in-law-itis, but it sounds like that he had it really, really bad.
100% probably.
Wow. Okay. So sitting in another room watching football while your mother celebration meal is happening. That's, I have to say, you don't hear that every day. Wow.
Right.
That's
Yes,
very painful. It's very painful.
It is. But I'm like, that's his condition. That's not me. And,
right.
I feel compassion. That's really what I feel. I don't feel anything else other than compassion, and because of the condition of his heart. But all is well. I continue to pray for him and hold him in high regards, in that sense, that the condition that he is in, I'm just grateful that I hope and pray that he can overcome it sometime in his life.
Yeah, that's pretty sad. That is a very it's just a sad situation because I too, know what it feels like to be in a bad marriage. I'll say bad nicely. But it's it's not fair because you need that support. Moving on into the mother has passed now. Is he acting better? Is he acting better since your mother has passed?
No, I had a conversation with him where I said, okay, mom's gone. She's no longer here. Is there, can we talk? Can we renew what happened? So no, it doesn't work that way. Too late.
Wow.
That's what he said. So I've been told by professional counselors that I am married to a narcissistic person. But right now, the way he greets me when he comes home is by waving his hand. And if I go to the kitchen, he goes to the room. If I go to the room, he comes out and goes to the kitchen. So he doesn't want to be in my presence. But every time I, walk by him, I just say grace and says, God, cover me with your blood and cover him and have compassion in both of us.
Wow. You are a very strong person because 99.5% of the women, including myself, would walk out of that. So, 40 years though to be, when do you feel like that the problem with your relationship showed itself? Like, was it just when your mother moved in or was it going on before?
Oh, it was going on from the second day I married him.
Oh, you have been, I don't want to know his name because I'm scared to death that it's going to be my ex-husband. Sorry.
Believe me, it's not. I tell some women, I think we're all married to the same man. When we have bad experiences, we're all married to the same man. They just have a different face, different name.
Yeah.
And same us, we're women, we're sensitive, but very, very, very strong.
Yeah, that's I know exactly. I mean, I feel it, and you put up with it a whole lot longer than I was able to, but I feel like that I know your experience.
I think I only regret that I believe that I showed my daughters that it's okay to put up with that. And one of these days I want to sit with my daughters and with my sons for that matter, that I allowed for them to, when they get married, to be okay with a man like that. And that's my only regret, that they picked it up and they're very passive, the youngest is more than the oldest, because the oldest left back when she was 22 on her own. But the youngest, I can see her people pleasing.
Mm-hmm.
And that hurts me because I know where it's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, you certainly showed them you can get through things. And I mean, I'm not sure how to feel about it with the children, because if he was a great father and you're like, well, it was worth me being mistreated for them to have a good dad, it might be one thing. But like you said, we show our children how they are supposed to act. We can talk to them all day long and tell them what not to do. But when they see us acting out, they're learning. It's a learned behavior.
Correct. I would tell my children, hey, he might not be a good husband, but he's an amazing father.
Okay.
And the marriage counselor said to me, no. An amazing father loves the mother of his children, right?
True.
So I kind of held back, but I had told my kids, I don't speak evil about him. It hurts them, I guess, to see the condition. Yes.
So in the state that you're in now, where you're trying to make decisions on how you're going to move forward, are you planning on leaving this relationship now, or are you going to allow him to take that first step?
Well, about a month ago, it's not even a month ago, a few weeks ago, I found out he was having an emotional affair over the phone.
Oh, wow.
Texting. And that kind of gave me the courage to say, okay, it sounds like everything's over. Please leave me the house, because he says this is his house. And as my children are like, no, mom, don't move. You stay home. You still have our youngest brother and sister, stay home. He cannot kick you, but everybody's telling me he's not going to leave. Right. He will not leave. He'll just narcissistic people will make your life miserable because they're miserable. And so I'm hoping that he just goes. He told me that he was going to leave last year in the summer. He didn't. And he's saying, about a month ago, I sat with him and spoke with him. And he says, can you tell me what your plans are? He gave me 3 choices about the home. He says, we can sell the house. You get your portion, I get my portion. We can refinance, bring the payment down, but you need to go get a job because you've never worked. And he's correct.
Mm-hmm.
Or I can let you stay in my home, but you have to pay all the bills. So it wasn't a whole lot of choices.
Right.
But so I'm in a hurry to sell I learned about the HELOC process.
Mm-hmm.
So I placed the home into a HELOC, giving a large portion of payments. And from 388, I think it's down to 105,000 right now.
Okay.
So it's moving forward. So one of the things that I was going to ask you was, should I know the interest are 8 something or 9 something, and I only have it locked at 4.2%. But if it's okay to bring it over to another HELOC and just get a line of credit, because the other one I locked it is closed and I can't access the money.
Oh, okay.
Right. So I
Okay.
was thinking maybe bringing it to a bank here, US Bank offer me for a HELOC. They did offer me a HELOC only if I pay the one that I have open right now.
Right. And that's the way it will go. Yes. So
Right.
you would move into a HELOC and then they would pay off the previous one. Yes.
Right. And since the house is worth 650 and the HELOCs are only 350, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what would happen to the rest of the money unless we sell the house. We have no access, but the 350 should be enough for me to move that money to
Right.
either, right? If I can give him his half and I keep my half, then he can go on his merry way and go buy a house. By the way, he's a ex-veteran, so with $1 he can purchase a home.
So what do you plan on doing financially since you've never worked before?
I don't know. I have a lot of knowledge because I did educated myself while I was raising the children. So
Okay.
I went to the International College of the Healing Arts. I got my doctorate in holistic medicine.
Nice.
And I learned banking. I learned finances. Just from my home, I'm like, wow, people are throwing money away. And the more I see your videos, I'm like, oh my God, people still don't see it. They have this blindfold. But you know what, Christy, one of the things that I noticed is that most of the people that have difficulties on the finances
Mm-hmm.
is they're not tithing or giving offerings. That's a big
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's huge. I will not compromise. The first thing that comes out of the bank is the tithing.
Yes. That's the way I feel.
And the offerings. So for
Mhm.
me, I'm very, very big on that. So I love helping people, especially empowering women,
Mm-hmm.
because I've been going through this all my life. And I stay for my children, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But I like to empower younger women to know their boundaries and to know how to protect themselves in
Right.
case they end up without a good husband, if I could say it that way. Right?
Right.
So I do get some others having their daughters call me before they get married, and it's just, this is what it's going to look like. Is this where you want to go forward? So stuff like that, like just like a life coach kind of thing that I could probably exercise, but I don't even know how to go about it.
Right.
Again, I've been focus raising. Again, I still have 2. I have my 2 youngest ones in college. They're still living at home. So this is the reason why everyone tells me that he's not going to go nowhere.
Yeah.
And he can kick me out of the house either, because my children are here. That more like it, he would be the one to go. One of the things that did damage myself and the children was my husband calling social services on my mother.
Oh my goodness.
So
Wow.
it's extreme. And that's everybody's reaction is like yours. It's like, how far can this man go? But he did. He called social services and I opened the door. I never opened the door in my home. That morning, he allowed me to go open the door. And that was social services telling me that my husband had told me that he wanted them to remove my mom from the house.
Wait a minute. Did you just say that he never allowed you to open the door?
Because when people ring the door, he goes and finds out who it is for safety purposes.
Right.
But that morning, he allowed me to go open the door because he knew they were coming.
Right.
So I was like, And the social worker would not speak inside the house because he was here in the kitchen. So she says, can we go outside and talk about what's going on here? I was so puzzled and confused. I'm like, okay, why is she here? And then she explained to me that she was here because my husband had requested for them to come and look and have my mother removed.
That is crazy. I'm sorry. This just went from finances to crazy. That's just
And the same a social worker that was speaking to me interviewed my mom separately away from me. And afterwards, she asked me to come out again. And she says, Letty, Rose, Maria, I believe that I wish I had more daughters like yourself to take care of their mothers the way you love her and protect her.
Exactly.
And she said, if you want me to, I can call the police right now and they can take him.
Wow.
That's mentally abuse because your mother's elderly and you're protecting your husband too much.
Yeah.
That's what she told me. She goes, I can have him removed right now. You cannot leave because you have your mother here, you have your children here. So she says, and besides, half this house is yours. And I'm like, okay. So I kind of got a little bit of courage and asked my husband, so what half of the house is mine so I can stay there?
Right. Yeah. But what a
even
situation. Wow.
Right. But even at that, Christy, I came in, took a deep breath, as if nothing had happened.
Right.
My mother, when she spoke with the social worker, she asked him, has your son-in-law done anything to you? My mother protected me through her answers. She said, no, denied all the mean stuff my husband had done to her. Like she would open the door to ask for water and he would go and pull the door close and say, this is not your house. Don't be opening the door or asking for water. Your daughter's not here, so close the door.
Wow.
It was intense. It's been intense. But I think my other half reason for staying is my spiritual belief in what God sees in a human being as a soul.
Right.
And that's how I'm viewing my husband as a living conditioned person that is so valuable to God.
Mm-hmm.
But if he chooses to move on, I will bless him and wish him the best. But I'm going to stay good. And I hope and pray that he does move on or changes dramatically.
Mother Teresa, is that you? I'm sorry.
Well, you know what? My daughter, after the final day of the funeral, she says, Mom, I'm taking you straight to file for divorce. This is my oldest daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And she saw my eyes crying and she's like, okay, this is not the time. We're just going to leave for next time I come because they live out of state.
Mm-hmm.
And we left it at that. But, I know my children secretly have been wanting me to leave.
Right.
And, I'm still here.
Well, I mean, besides the financial matters, you have emotionally taken a lot of hits and 40 years of it. I mean, I took 17 years and it was more than enough. It's time for you to look after yourself for a while because you've been trying to protect your mother and yourself from the emotional abuse, literally, that your husband has been handing out. And that's just not fair. That's unbelievable. It's unbelievable that people will act like that.
Yes.
You know.
I was diagnosed 2 years ago with heartbroken syndrome.
I've heard of that.
Yes, and because I was taking care of the finances in the house, I was taking care of the remodeling of the house, the backyard, the bills,
Mm-hmm.
my mother, everything. He was literally living a single life, and he said, I'm living a single life, so what? You chose to have your mother, so I'm living my single life, and it is what it is. And I said, okay. But I hit a wall because I was doing too much. And my doctor said, your heart is going to stop beating any day. This is what she told me 2 years ago. And I believe that God is the one that's holding my heart together. And I'm in peace.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I mean, it hurts, but life goes on. And I believe that my purpose here on earth is not done yet, or it's not finished.
You're in.
And whatever God wants me to do, it's not finished. That's why I keep waking up every morning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you're in the peace that passes understanding. Sounds like to me. Because there's no understanding in what you're going through.
Yeah.
So talking about your finances, let's assume that you're able to move into one of the career paths that you have prepared. You just haven't done it yet. For example, if you were going to do the massage therapy or you were going to move into taking care of people health wise, whatever it is that you plan to do. If you're living on the West Coast, I imagine that you would need to probably make at least $7,000 a month just to keep up with maybe your expenses on the home and stuff. If you can stay in the home, do you feel like you can afford it?
I'm not going to use the word refi. If I open the HELOC and give them this portion and bring the payment down, I believe so, because I've been only doing this HELOC for a year and a half, and I think I paid a lot of money, from $388 to $105.
Okay.
Intensively, I've been putting a lot of money into the HELOC because I just do handcrafts,
right?
And I just sell those. So when I get the income, I throw it into the house.
Okay.
My purpose was to pay it off so I can stay here peacefully and he can move on with his retirement check, because that's another thing that he did. He removed me from the retirement check and he said that money is his. And when I called their company, he says, he's right, the money's not yours, it's his. Okay. So he can do whatever he wants with it. I said, okay, and that was clear. But if I add up what I need, if the house is paid for, I probably would only need about $3,000 to $4,000 for living expenses.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't think it's a lot. I'm very frugal in my way of living. I cook at home, fresh stuff. I don't do a lot of junk food and stuff, so I'm pretty healthy in that sense.
Well, it sounds like you've got it all figured out. What questions do you have for me?
I think my questions were basically a reassurance that this could happen, that I can live on my own, and really positioning myself to purchase a home if I have to move away. Okay. If it gets to that point that I can't breathe. Okay. And I need to breathe. How can I position myself? Do I use a credit card? Do I use a line of credit? Because right now everything's on both of our names. So that's my, if I could say, my little concern. How do I get a line of credit all on my own? Or can I, since we have the HELOC? You cannot get any kind of line of credit on your own until you have worked for a while. A personal line of credit, they may go on the fact that maybe you've had a job for 6 months. But to get any kind of housing loan or line, you had to have been at your employment for 2 years. So I don't know if during this time, while you're waiting everything out here, if you could go ahead and get work and get started, so that you can be showing some income, because you're going to have to show the income. As far as the home, if you can afford to do that, and it sounds like you can. You said the home was about $650,000 in value, and you only owe like $300 or $350 on it, I believe you said, or is it down to $188? It's down to $105. Oh, that's perfect. So you're going to have to divide that out. So that's going to provide more than enough for you, it would appear, for you to get on your own, even if you did have to find another place to live, because you're going to have the 50-50 split, I take it, with the home. Right. And any retirements that he has or anything else, if you move into that part, it seems like that you're going to be able to, with a small income on the side, you could absolutely provide for yourself. Yeah. I believe so. I believe I can do it. It's just getting over that hump and saying, so married, I can't even go and apply for a home on my own? And not without a job. So if I have someone that has good income, can I purchase a home with someone else? They would purchase the home, though. You cannot be put on even a loan or anything like that if you don't have a job. You can be put on the deed of the home if they name you on the deed, but the loan, all of that information would go through the person that has the employment. Okay, so I have a 1099 with the craft and the advice I do. So it's a little, so I did make some kind of income through there, and they gave me a 1099. Can you show that for a couple of years? I think this past year was the highest income I received. Okay. So you're kind of probably going to have to show a bank that and let them decide what they'll do. But from what I know, I haven't run into many banks that will work with anyone that hasn't had a 2-year income when you're talking about housing. Now, if you're talking about, a credit card, they don't really pay attention to that. But the housing, they absolutely usually do check on the last couple of years. Okay,
Mhm.
okay. Sounds good. Okay, that's no
Okay.
problem. I can go find a job.
Well, I mean, yeah, and I mean, you're going to be free in so many ways that you'll probably feel like a new person once you get all of this situated.
Yes.
It's been a real mess, but so besides that, I mean, it sounds like that you're in a good position. So he's been the provider for the 40 years.
Yes, because he never allowed me to work.
So it sounds like that you're getting into, I'm not an advocate for divorce at all, but just what little I know, you're looking at maybe alimony. I mean, you've got all kinds of things that's going to help you.
I believe they told him that he has to still support me for
Yes.
half of the years I was married to him.
Yes.
And which, for my peace of mind, if he would fight that, he can keep it. I
Right.
just want peace. I just want peace.
Right.
And I want to keep breathing for whatever years I have left in life.
Right.
And not demand him from it anything other than, do you mind if I keep the house? I can give you 200,000 and you can just go away and I'll stay here.
Right.
And that's what I would ask him to do if he came to, right? So he doesn't feel like something was taken from him,
Right.
right? And says, here's 200,000. You can go buy a house on the East Coast with that. And
You won't like, I'm in the West, you go to the East. Let's just get this done, right?
I mean, it's kind of like he's told me that he wants to go.
Not just your children, but your grandchildren. You've got all of that in mind for what's coming up in the future. And I think that that's a really good place for you to be. I just would like to see you move on and develop your own life now, because you have many years left that you need to get happy and to
Yes.
find your peace, not just financially, but you've been through a lot of emotional abuse, and for you to have handled it as well as you have is awesome. You don't want to just turn loose and say, okay, I've been married for 40 years and I'm going to turn loose and be crazy and do
No.
stupid. No, you want to stay focused on the kids.
Oh, no. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, I'm still here for my children. And I find my source of strength with my relationship with God, number
Right.
one, and the church family.
Right.
They're extremely loving. They have been there for me. They were there for me for my mom's going away celebration. Pastor and bishops were amazing to me, and they were
Wow.
just very loving, caring, and that's my source.
Good.
That's my source of strength, attending to church.
Any other questions that you have financially?
I use a 0% for 18 months,
Mm-hmm.
and I charge, whatever bills, and then when it expires, I apply for another one.
Okay.
And I've been accumulating them.
Okay.
I think one of the things that I wanted to ask you was, how do you figure the interest on the credit cards? Because I know you add it when you're explaining it to people.
Uh-huh.
How do I figure out the interest rate? Do you get the total of the balance and multiply or divide it by what? So I can know.
So the bank calculates the interest rate on the average daily balance. So it's not the high or the low. It's whatever you averaged per day throughout the month. They'll take your interest rate, multiply it by the average daily balance, and divide it by 12 is how we figure out what it's going to be for a month. But if you divide it by 365 days, then that tells you also, times 30, how much you're going to be paying for the month. So I have a video on that. I'll send you that link so that you can review that and know exactly how to figure your interest.
Okay.
Okay.
Is $54,000 a year enough for me to survive? Because that's what I made last year, all on my own.
Oh, awesome. Yes. I mean, I deal with people every day that don't make that much. So
wow.
as long as you don't have debt and you're just paying for
don't.
your living expenses, then
Yes.
I just see no reason that you couldn't to survive well as one person with no children on that. Absolutely.
Okay.
Good for you. So you're doing really good with your money. I know you're going to be just fine. So when you get the payout of the part of the divorce that comes to you, then I think you're going to be pretty set.
Thank you. I'm hoping to maybe book a call with Alex.
Okay. Alex is awesome. Now, I never thought of that, but he would be able to probably promote any business that you are doing to where you can just keep doing what you're doing on the 1099 or the things you make. I mean, yeah, that would be awesome. I hadn't thought of that. That's a good idea.
Yes, because I seen your videos with him and I'm like, wow, it sounds like she totally trusts this
Yeah.
young man. So I would like to maybe have an interview with him and see how I
Okay.
can improve going forward.
And you have a conversation with him to see what he says he can or can't do to help you.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All
Okay,
right.
Christy, well, you have a blessed day. Thank you so
Thank
much. I
you.
know you were a blessing.
Well, thank you so
Encouragement.
much for reaching out, and good luck with everything, because, I feel like that you're blessed and that it's all going to work out just fine.
Thank you so much.
You are
Thank you,
welcome.
thank you.
I hope you have
Have
a
a
great
blessed-
rest of your day.
You too. Be blessed.
All
Bye-bye.
right. Thank you. Bye-bye.